welcome to another episode of the Fanzone podcast. Your home for all things Bolton Wanderers, up the Trotters, the Northwest's #1 podcast.
A very good evening, one and all, and welcome to episode 61 of the preview show. Brought to you by us here at the Fanzone podcast and sponsored by Loving My Socials, helping businesses with all their social media, marketing and graphic design needs. For further information, if you could head over to our website, which is www.thefanzonepod.co.uk, where you'll find information on Loving My Socials and all our other valued sponsors. Before we crack on, I have noticed that I received an error message saying that our StreamYard platform has had issues connecting with Twitter. I don't know if anybody can shed any light from a viewer's perspective on how that's impacting on your viewing pleasure this evening, but please do let us know and Dan will pick it up in the chat. Good evening, Dan. Are you well?
Very well, thank you. Rushed back, just got back from work, hence the formal attire with the oil tank on the M6 has caused us all kinds of issues tonight. But we're here, we're ready, and I'm excited to speak to Charlie.
For the observant amongst you, you'll notice I've got the same hoodie on from last night, and I've still got the same flask. I've refreshed the contents of said flask, but just for any confusion, we are joined this evening by, drumroll, Charlie Hayne of the Talking Gas podcast, friend of the show. Charlie, how the devil are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, it's good to be back on. Good to be back on again.
It's you're a bit of a staple feature of the Fanzone pod in the preview show. So obviously long overdue after the game was originally postponed due to high winds, and we've just been recollecting. Welcome to League One, ladies and gentlemen. So, without further ado, we will dive straight in with season so far. So, tomorrow evening, 7:45 kickoff, Bolton Wanderers will be travelling to the MEM in Bristol for our away game versus Bristol Rovers. As I say, originally scheduled for, was before Christmas, wasn't it? Originally?
Yeah.
Way before Christmas. So, update, I believe there is an issue with Twitter and not with us or StreamYard. So, Elon, if you can get your finger out, mate, that'd be mega. So, Charlie, Bristol Rovers currently sit 20th in League One.
Yeah,
nice little cushion above the drop, which we like to see. So, tell us, season so far, how has it been for you?
Well, pretty awful, to be honest with you. Yeah, a lot of not really high expectations, but expectations to at least sort of try and finish mid-table. I think last year it was 15th in the end. Yeah, it's been pretty awful, like you just said, 20th in the league, been struggling a lot, conceding a lot of goals, struggling to score. We have picked up some good wins along the way, but yeah, it's been a really frustrating, hard watch for a lot of the season. Obviously, had a manager change in December after the loss to Birmingham, although it wasn't just the Birmingham result. It was, I think, 1 win in 10, 1 win in 11 for Matt Taylor, who took over last season and famously got that win at your place in his, I think, second league game. And that was really where the joy ended, to be honest with you, in that little run where we beat you, we beat Pompey. I don't think they'd lost an away game for like 4 or 5 months, and we beat them after we beat you. But yeah, there was a few wins, but mainly we sort of got to January, February, about a month after he come in, and it was done. The season was done. And then, yeah, got backed in the summer. A lot of players, I think it was 16 in the summer, and then a further 5 in January. Obviously, a few key players leaving, Evans being one of them. Obviously, Collins left last January to join you. So, yeah, a lot of turnover. But, yeah, under Taylor, it was shocking. I was quite happy when we got him. Looking back at it now, it was probably too soon after he got sacked at Rotherham, because we interviewed loads of managers. Nathan Jones was one of those. I think he turned us down. Wow. And there's loads of others. But yeah, there was no style of play. I watched your episode last night, and I seen obviously the stat man was saying about possession. Yeah, basically under Taylor with us, although his Exeter team was brilliant on the eye, brilliant football, lot of possession, creativity, attacking football. And I think maybe the stint at Rotherham, I don't know, it obviously maybe a loss of confidence from Taylor himself. But yeah, no style of play. Didn't want to have the ball, basically defending all game. That's why the possession stats are so low. I think under Cowdy, only 3 of his 14 league games in charge, we've had less possession than the opposition. And those were actually in 3 of our wins against Huddersfield, Barnsley and Peterborough. So, yeah, under Taylor was awful. Obviously, Cowdy has come in, got 5 wins in 14, 2 draws, 7 losses. 5 of those losses have come away from home. I'm glad we're playing you at home, because our away record, I think it's 22nd or 23rd in the league. We've lost 14 out of 18 games away from home. So yeah, we've really, really struggled. So I'm glad we're playing you at home, but even then, it doesn't really come at a good time, as we'll get into later.
Well, I noticed something earlier, a bit of a snippet from the local Bristol press. They were saying that 7 points from home matches against Barnsley, Stockport and Huddersfield, which is a bit of a statement, really, isn't it? Obviously, Saturday's win. Against a Huddersfield team in disarray. Obviously, it's marked the end for Michael Duff the following day.
Yeah.
How did you play? What were your thoughts on Saturday against Huddersfield?
Yeah, I thought we played very well. We, I've got to give our lads credit, because we obviously, before that game, we were on a 4-match winless streak, 3 losses and a draw. Obviously come off the back of a disappointing 0-0, a draw at Shrewsbury. I thought in terms of effort, desire, work rate, togetherness, the atmosphere at the Mem, and we limited Huddersfield from basically, there was a couple of chances in the first sort of 10 minutes before we scored where we basically gifted them chances. Like we kicked out our player early, our keeper kicked it off our defender, foul to Dion Charles, but Taylor tackled him. But we limited them to just basically set pieces, which I was very, I know Huddersfield have got a lot of injuries. I think they've 9 or 10 first team players out injured, but we had, I think, 7, 8 players missing, maybe even more as well. So I was disappointed in Huddersfield. I was expecting a lot more, even though they were come off the back of 3 defeats in 4 before they played us. But yeah, we obviously scored a good goal, and just defended well. Like, you obviously expect, the normal sort of passion, desire thing week in, week out. But with us, we sort of struggled with that a lot this season. But the whole ground, just got behind the lads. Obviously, it was a big game. We needed to win, and we did. And overall, really, really solid. Limited Huddersfield to, like I said, crosses. Like I wasn't expecting a Huddersfield team, although Michael Duff doesn't play the best brand of football.
No,
I was expecting him to be a lot better and better on the eye. But we usually struggle against teams that, long ball set pieces, but we seem to deal with that really well on Saturday. And obviously a really good win. But I mentioned, the home form. It's pretty mad that we've got a game in hand. Well, obviously this is our game in hand.
Yeah.
We're 5 points behind you in terms of home form, which is pretty mental with that game in hand, which is mad.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that just shows that it's a really strange league. I mean, obviously we had issues pre-Schumacher. Yeah, and obviously we were cut adrift. Playoffs were a concern and a bit of a pipe dream, and then all of a sudden we're potentially looking at a chase for second.
Yeah,
Dan,
yeah, I would say that.
I think it's realistic. It with the way that the fixtures are coming around and the fixtures in terms of teams at the business end near the top playing each other, obviously taking points off each other, it's going to make for an interesting end to the season. Obviously, looking at the league, like I say, you've created a bit of a buffer. Our win against Burton on Saturday, obviously helping with that.
Yeah.
Are you confident now? I know you don't want to give it the kiss of death, but are you confident of staying in League One this season?
Yeah, I'm a lot more confident. I mean, it's weird, like with Rovers, I think it's with every club, like when you go on a poor run of form, and especially where we are with the 4 games without a win, you sort of fear the worst because we'd sort of regressed because before that 4-game winless run, we went 3 home games unbeaten, but then it went back to the away form where we're a totally different side to what we are at home, even with Calderon. So now I'm a lot more confident. I've got a lot more hope. We still got tough games. We still got to play you again after this. We still got to play Birmingham at home. We still got to play Wrexham away. We've still got some very tough fixtures, but I'm a lot more confident now just because there's that little buffer and Burton basically have got better our results, sort of double, and they've got a very, very tough run in. I think the rest of them, I think Crawley, Cambridge, Shrewsbury, I think they're down. I think it's probably between Burton and someone else because there's a few teams above us. Like if we, we'll get to predictions, but a win is unlikely for us Tuesday, even though we're at home. But if we win and things go like our way, we could go up to 16th, and that would pull in Peterborough back. Mansfield, who I think haven't won in 10, 11 games.
10, 11, yeah.
Like that. So I'm a lot more confident now, and I've got a lot more hope.
It's crazy, isn't it? To put it again, put it into perspective and talking about how mad this league is this season. You 39 points level on points with Peterborough. It's they've had a shocking season, obviously, but still, obviously, it shows how tight this league is. Yeah. David said Calderon played 16, drawn 2, lost 9. Have the Rovers fans warmed to him?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, to be fair, 2 of those losses were in the cup. One against Ipswich was pretty much a free hit, and I can't remember the other one was in a cup game, I think, as well. But yeah, we have, because he's got a style of play. Mainly wants to try attacking football, fast pace. Obviously now, I'm not really bothered about a style of play until next season. Really, I just want to get results and just get safe. To be honest, I think Cowdy said that as well in a recent interview. It's just the style of play, and just he's an actual proper passionate guy. Like Taylor is completely different. Like you even asked, I spoke to some of our players and even people winning around the club, and he's like a head teacher, Matt Taylor. He's like, we went from Barton, passionate. I know, whatever you could call it.
It's
at least he was passionate, and you would, everything that what he said, in a good way, you would believe him. But Taylor is just, and even in the interview when Taylor first came in, you could see half the players were like, what what is this? Because they'd all been brought in under Barton, and yeah, it's just not the same. But yeah, Cowley at least got that style. He's got the passion. Like, you see him on the touchline. When Taylor was with us, he's just stood there like arms folded, like, you know, not
He's
even
very animated, isn't he, Calderon? Very,
very. Obviously Spanish, being Spanish as well from the Basque region. Yeah, very animated. Very.
Did a little bit of research on him before we came on, and I mean, even down to his dress sense. He had a pair of, like, you know, funky Nikes on and a pair of jeans and a cap. And he was like very, very sort of animated on a touchline kind of stance. So he does seem like a bit of a character. And it's one of those, isn't it? It's all about perfect storms, isn't it? It's all about managers suiting the environment.
Yeah.
And buying into the culture and just having something about them. And I think that's certainly what we've seen with bit of a Blair Witch sort of moment going on here. Gally, are you still with us?
Doesn't it pay so?
Some strong winds in Bristol again. You smell good.
Well, just to touch on the strong winds, though, Chris, it's done us a favour, hasn't it, that weather? Because this would have been a fixture that would have been played pre-Schumacher.
Yeah.
So to actually have this in the locker now and face them twice in a month, which we were discussing before we came on air tonight, that, you know, it's almost great that we've got this fixture with the new gaffer under the new regime, with this momentum that we've built.
Although we have got a very good record at the Memorial.
We certainly have. You know,
there we go. You're back.
Here he is.
You went. Are you with us, Charlie? Oh, hey up. It's fallen over. Can you hear us, mate? Please bear with us, viewers. Thanks to around 50 of you joined us live this evening. Twitter's gone down. Charlie's internet's gone down.
And there's rumours I'm paused as well, according to Col.
No, I asked Colin's internet, I think.
You might just be on your own, Chris.
Blimey. Right, what do I do? Shall I sing you a song? Tell you a joke? Do a little lap dance for you all? I don't know. We're going to just about to do.
I guess from our point of view, while we're waiting for Charlie, we can discuss it from a Bolton point of view, can't we, myself and you, in terms of what we can expect tomorrow. I mean, listening to the gaffer's interview earlier, it's not an easy place to go. We need to be firing on all cylinders, as is mentioned in the chat by David, that we need to be fully switched on, and I'm sure under the gaffer we will be. But again, they got a decent result of the weekend, albeit Huddersfield in disarray. We just need to make sure that we're not taking things for granted. We've still got a massive game.
No, you're
Gas
right.
have got a lot to play for, haven't they? So we need to make sure that we're.
There's not many dead rubbers at this point of the season. Charlie, can you hear us?
Yeah. Apologies about that. There's been a few power cuts.
Don't worry, mate. Yeah, it's live. We're used to it. Don't worry about it. We are going to go
tomorrow.
You are.
As long as it's not called off tomorrow for a power cut, Charlie, we're all right.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah, it's been mad in Bristol.
We will dive into our injury updates. Daniel, would you like to kick off with our, again, is a relatively clean bill of health?
We've got a relatively clean bill of health, with the exception of George Johnson, who will miss out again tomorrow night. The gaffer earlier saying we're waiting on results of his scans. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Don't envisage it to be. But other than the legacy injuries, which again is positive, with Santos, Atete and Dempsey all rejoining the group today in terms of training, we do pretty much have a full strength team to pick from, which is great. And bad news for Charlie is Bristol Rovers legend Aaron Collins came through an impact injury on Saturday, and he will most likely be leading the line tomorrow to score 3 against his former club.
Of course.
Of course he's fit. Yeah.
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 We've taken very good care of him, Charlie. If it makes you feel any better, we have we show a lot of love to Colo. He's it's a phenomenal lad. He's really applied himself since he came to us. Seems to have kicked on. He's had a really good season. Anyway, I'll stop rubbing it in now.
It's amazing what happens when they play for a proper football club.
Shots fired. So, how is it looking for your boys, Charlie, in terms of personnel?
Yeah, not good, to be honest with you. Yeah, we've only got one fit striker in Royal Saturio, who's been on fire for us at the men anyway. 4 goals in his last 6, but yeah, he's the only one fit, and he's played on the wing most of the time anyway. He's a forward, but he can play anywhere. So we got Promise Omacheri, who was our record signing from Fleetwood, for around 700k, which is actually our record signing. He came back 2 weeks ago from a hamstring injury, his second or third hamstring injury of the season. And then, of course, 6 minutes into the game on Saturday, he goes off again, off the ball incident. So he's out. Gatlin O'Donko, another striker, out, hamstring injury. Chris Martin got a knock to his knee. So he's going to be missing. So that's all the strikers. Grant Ward, the midfielder, he's going to be missing. You got Lindsay missing. Shaq Ford is back from his 4-game suspension after getting sent off at Wickham. His second red card for us this season, leveling the amount of goals he scored for us. Yeah, and there's a few others. I don't. You obviously got Camille Conte, who we signed last January from Grimsby. He's been out since Boxing Day, so he won't be available. He's probably our best midfielder, although Butcher's been good on loan for us. So yeah, we've got a lot of injuries. I mean, you even have to look at the bench. We had 2 17-year-olds on the bench on the weekend. One of them just turned 17, made his league debut for us, and the other one, Kofi Shaw, who's made a few appearances for us. So yeah, it's not looking good from our point of view. It says a lot when Taylor Moore, who's a versatile player, mainly in the back line, mainly a centre back or right back, he had to come on and play midfield on Saturday. Done a good job, but yeah, so we're down to the bare bones, and even then there still might be a few players missing. Cowdy hasn't done, and he usually does it on a Wednesday, so we won't hear too much from him, so there might even be a few more out. So it would probably be the same team that ended. And Scott Sinclair played up front, 35 now, nearly 36, so it'd probably be him and Saturio up front. So yeah, it's a bit mad. So yeah, it's not looking good for us, but you'll be sort of rubbing your hands together, I suppose, after listening to that.
Interesting you mentioned Scott Sinclair, because during his time at Preston, he lived 5 doors up from me, him and Helen with the kids. Yeah. Obviously, he's skipping now as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Club captain, obviously come through the academy at Rovers before he went to Chelsea, and that obviously brilliant career. So yeah, still the fittest player in the squad, even at 35. But yeah, he'll be up front again. Obviously not got the pace as he used to, but he's still quick off the mark. So he's
still got the guile, hasn't he? He's still
got that quality.
Yeah. Colin was just asking Saturio. He was the guy you signed from Leyton Orient.
Yeah. Leyton Orient. Yeah, we signed him compensation. I don't know what the fee was. There's loads of rumours, but yeah, he's another player that has spoken today actually out on the Bristol Live about Matt Taylor. I seen him a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, he had a lot to say, as did every other pretty much player about him. But since Cowdy's come in, he's been on fire, played in his normal position, and like I mentioned earlier, 4 goals in his last 6 home games. So he's on good form.
Lovely finish on Saturday.
Yeah.
Good, wasn't it? That to chip the keeper. Yeah. We'll look out for him. Obviously, if we can take him out of the game, that'll be it then, won't it? Because he's the only fit striker, I suppose, really, isn't it? Jeez, that is a hefty casualty list. Somebody mentioned, I think it was David in the chat. David in the chat, who says credit to Bristol Rovers for clawing results out under a lot of injuries. It's a hell of an achievement. I think that's probably a testament to Calderon for galvanising the team and just getting them working together through all this adversity. That's a horrendous injury.
It's happened quite a lot because even early on, Chris Martin, who's now 36, I think it was the second or third game at Stockport, broke his leg. He was out for 3 months, come back. So we've had, if you look at our side, we've got, I think, league goals anyway. We've got Soturio on 5. That's our top goal scorer. We got 3 players on 4. Then a couple on 3 and then 2. So it's, we've struggled throughout the season with goals, so within the whole team. But injuries hasn't helped. Like a lot of the strikers, whether you could say they're really good or whatever, it's been a lot of our issues this season, like them having injuries. Like I mentioned earlier, Promise has been out on 3 or 4 separate occasions now with the same hamstring injury. It's not looking good. So Ollie Dewsbury, who turned 17 a couple of weeks ago, will probably be coming off the bench again. So it's a tough game anyway, but with the players out, then it's going to be an even tougher one.
Nothing to lose though, isn't it? Obviously we make these jibes about being a massive club. Well, we are obviously a massive club, big blah blah blah, pedigree and whatnot. But to give them that opportunity to show the value against a team like Bolton, they've got nothing to lose, have they? At the end of the day, But that can't. That's horrendous and especially when you make your sort of marquee signing and you can't get any games out of them.
Yeah,
after spending £750,000 on them or whatever it was, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it just sums it up really. Yeah, it's mad. Yeah,
I think after that we could all do with a pint, which leads us nicely in to our next segment, which is Pub Watch. So, reports are saying that I think we've sold 850 tickets for tomorrow night, and there will be a pay on the day available. So, all being well and a following wind, maybe 1,000 whites will be making the journey on a Tuesday night down to Bristol, which is phenomenal considering the support across the last few weeks away. So, where can Bolton fans go for a cheeky beer, Charlie, around the Mem?
To be fair, there's a lot of places. You've got Gloucester Road. Pretty much all of them will let away fans in. You've obviously got the away bar in the away fan zone in the away end as well, which is good. Yeah, so basically, pretty much anywhere around the stadium will let you in. I think maybe the Wellington, which is on top of the hill, doesn't, and the Crafty Cow, which I usually go in. But a lot of places, there's loads of bars, pubs, micro pubs down Gloucester Road, which is literally 2 minutes around the corner, where that famous picture of Aaron Collins on the lamppost after he got promoted.
So Bolton fans can go and recreate that then, if they want to.
Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of places to drink or find food or whatever.
Belting, like you say, I know I've been a few times to the memorial. It's a brilliant day out, and the bar for away fans in the Fanzone is bang on. Is bang on. If you can't make it to the game, obviously it will be on Sky Sports, I believe, on the red button. And Radio Manchester, Jack Dearden will be joined by none other than Kevin Davis. Super Kev tomorrow night on commentary. So if you can't make it down to Bristol tomorrow night, and listen, don't beat yourself up if you can't, because it's a hell of a schlep on a Tuesday. Plenty of places where you can watch the game and get behind the boys. Hannah's saying, good for me, we are in Cornwall. All right, Hannah. Yeah, it must have its perks, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, speaking of the game, we're going to dive into some score predictions. Everybody's least favourite segments. What's the score? And in time-honoured tradition and just general bloody good manners, Charlie, guess first. What are your predictions, mate?
Guess for yeah. I'd love to say a win, but I can't see it. I think it's going to be Saturday was a huge effort against Huddersfield. When they're bringing the likes of Joe Taylor, and Dion, obviously your old player off the bench, is mad, really, in League One. I said I was on the Radio Bristol on Thursday for our Rovers show, and I said if we can get 3 points out of Huddersfield and Bolton after going 4 without a win, I'd snap your hand off, and that's what I think it will be. I think it will be 2-1 Bolton. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more, to be honest, just because with the quality you've got, the hardly any one injury concern. It's mad. Like I've already mentioned our injuries, but at home, that's where we've got most of our points. I think 13 of our 17 points under Cowdon have come at home. We've drew against Stockport recently. We drew against Wrexham. Beat Huddersfield, beat Barnsley. We've had some good results, but I just can't see it. I'll go 2-1 Bolton with, of course, Aaron Collins is going to score again against us like he did last season at the Mem. And we like to concede from a set piece, so I'll go Owen Toyle to score as well if he starts. And I'll go Cicero for us. Although I said on our podcast last night that I hope Ricardo Santos was playing, because whenever we play against him, he has a car crash like he did in the away game against you when we had Collins. He was horrendous. So I'm hoping he plays. But is he injured for you, or just not being fit?
He's on his way back. He's on the grass, but he's through no fault of his own either. He's just nowhere near that starting 11 because the defensive line are just so. Will Forrest has stepped into that position and has made it his own. So even if he was fully fit, he wouldn't be. He wouldn't be taking a starting shirt.
No.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame.
we were only talking about him last night. Like Dan said, the team has evolved so quickly under Schumacher that we expect probably come the end of the season that maybe he'll be looking for another club. So, which is a shame because he's been fantastic. But he does have a howler in him, to say the least. But Dan, predictions, and if you want to bring up, I don't know if you want to do this to Charlie, if you want to bring up some of the predictions in the chat as well.
There's quite a lot, obviously, biased towards Bolton. A lot of 3-1s. There's one with the Collins hat trick. Another 3-1, another 3-1, a 4-1, a 2-0. But there is a negative one in there. Hannah down in Cornwall. There must be something in the air down in the southwest. She's thinking it's she's a little bit negative on our side and thinks it'll only be a draw. But given the fact you've just said your recent results at home, Stockport, Wrexham, Barnsley, Huddersfield, you've taken points off. They're all in and around where we are. So it's not going to be an easy place to go. We're under no illusions. Just because you've only got one fit striker, we need to be on it. Because, again, you've got things to fight for, things to play for. And you've shown with what you've just said there, Charlie, about you could get scalps against, the best in the division. So based on that, there's every chance you could take something off us tomorrow. I think we need to be on it. But given the way we have been under Schumacher, I think we will. You have only got one fit striker, which would scream a clean sheet. But this is Bolton 1. We don't do things the easy way. So I do think we'll concede. given the fact that we've conceded quite a lot over the season. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 Wanderers win. I don't think it'll be as cut and dry as some people think, but if we can come back up the M5 and M6 with 3 points, no matter what happens, we'll be more than happy.
Oh, right, here we go.
I tell you what, one thing I'll just
go on
before you go.
No.
It's all. I know I mentioned the home form earlier, that we're both very close in terms of points, but we've also somehow we've only conceded 2 more goals than you. I don't know how that is, but you like
more on us than you, to be fair.
Yeah. I don't think that's much to be proud of, given our defensive frailties this season. We'll eat goals all over the place, mate. Seriously, it's been a bit of a moot point this season for us. But still, again, when you look at the differentials and the number of places between us, it's a mad one. I'm going to go, and this is going to be crazy. This one. I'm going to go for a Bolton 1-0 win. I'm going to go for that clean sheet.
Good.
And I'm going to go for a 1-0. But like Dan said, off the back of that Birmingham result, and no, we're not still talking about it, Birmingham fans, but off the back of that Birmingham result, it's worth nothing if we can't get 2 good away wins against teams obviously significantly below us. We're at the important part of the season now, the business end. We need to be getting these results under our belt, and no complacency. So I'll go for a 1-0, but tough one to call.
We even got David here saying that 2 headers will win it. I think we've had a couple of people that said headers. Is there something we don't know about in terms of our guile in the air? But I'll take it. I'd take Aaron Collins' backside and a 1-0 win. I'd take it and run now.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Right. So before we sign off, I think it's worth mentioning the news this afternoon that broke at the Reebok Stadium that we will have, as of the end of the season, a new director of football, or people will pick me up on it, sporting director, in the form of Fergal Harkin, not to be confused with Fergal Sharkey. He will be joining us from his role of sporting director at Standard Liège. Prior to that, pretty integral, 13, 14 years at Man City. Previously linked with Celtic as sporting director. And if you read the comments from Belgium, obviously once it translated, the fans over there are very, very sad to see him go. Seemingly they went through a period of uncertainty in terms of finance, and he was central to sort of steadying the ship. So people keep mentioning what Leslie has just mentioned, that a certain curly-haired wing-back may be coming with him.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'd roll out the red carpet for the lad, to be honest with you. But
yeah, he was class for you, wasn't he? Marlon Fossey.
Yeah. A little bit injury prone, but he's done really, really well in Belgium. He's kept fit. He's a fan favourite over there. But welcome to the club, Fergal. Welcome to the biggest club in the world. And we wish you every success, mate, in the championship with us. And on that note, Dan, thank you. Of course, Charlie, absolute pleasure as always, mate. Thank you for joining us. Have a nice night tomorrow. I'm not wishing you any luck, obviously, but enjoy yourself. And well, we're going to be running it back on probably round about the 4th of April. So the night before the game on the 5th. So we'll see you very soon, mate. Thanks to everybody who's joined us. Thanks to Loving My Socials again for their support. And come on, you Whites. Good night.
Up the gas.
Come on, you Whites.